r/ask Reddit. What's something that only losers brag about? How many important people they claim to know in order to impress others. I was just saying that to Jamila Jamil the other day. I love how this comment works on multiple levels. Lots of people were the smartest kid in their high school, man. And most claiming to be the smartest in their high school were not actually the smartest. Nothing more humbling than when you are a bit above average intelligence and you meet someone that is really smart that has worked hard to cultivate it. How mean they were to someone. They always tell a long rambling story about how dumb someone was and how they told them off. I once went on a first date with somebody who told me a story about how they yelled at a developmentally disabled guy in his self-help group that morning. He was trying to impress me, there was no second date, and he was confused about it. I once went on a date with a guy I met on OkCupid who told me proudly how many other dates he had lined up that week. Just, why? Was it some weird ass attempt to look desirable? Had he somehow forgotten that I was already on a date with him? There wasn't a second date, which his busy schedule was probably extremely thankful for. It's 100% trying to look desirable and create urgency. He was hoping you would hear that and think that you better get to him now before the crowd does. Same deal as commercials that say supplies are going fast, or this deal won't last long. And just like in that kind of commercial, the deal is never as good as they're trying to make it look. I always used to laugh at those commercials with the timer counting down. How would their call center even possibly know when the commercial ended and the time was up? Not to mention they air a million times. So the super limited sale for the next 3 minutes starts over every time the ad airs. LOL, I'm sure some people do fall for it though. Their karma on Reddit. I have a lot. By the way, the real measure is karma per month, or KPM. It's not so much what they brag about as it is how often. My ex bragged about his achievements when he was in his 20s. All the freaking time. He is 60. All it does is continually prove that he has done absolutely nothing for 40 years. Big L. Honestly, not doing anything for 40 years is probably more of a braggable achievement. I'm upvoting not only because I agree but also because your answer indicates you're in your 50s or 60s and that makes me feel less alone in Reddit. In my experience, there are only really two types of people who brag about their clothing. The people who brag about how expensive an item was, or the people who brag about how cheap the item was. I wouldn't go so far as to call the first group losers, but the latter group tend to be much more fun to hang around with. Third type, girl who has a dress with pockets. My wife's wedding dress has pockets. Years later and she still mentions it. People who don't like them. Extra points if they actually call them haters. Hatters make me famous XD. Getting the highest score in golf. The truest answer. I once received an award for most honest at a company golf tournament. My score was more than twice as high as the next highest. How much they can drink. My brother would do this in high school, and fast forward 25 years later, he'd still do it when sitting with extended family on Thanksgiving. Most holidays would end with him passing out on the couch or him pissing his pants around 6 p.m. I can drink several liters of water in one day. My pee is completely devoid of color. I love drinking water. How great they were at high school sports long after graduating. Back in '82, I used to throw a pigskin a quarter mile. Insisting on how real or brutally honest they are. That's really just a positive spin on I don't consider other people before I say things, or indeed ever. How he lost tons and tons of money. Just dude, get a life. Dude, I lost so much money at the casino this month. Nice. Dude, I have a life ruining inability to control my impulses too. Being an alpha. We had a housewarming party years ago. A family friend was there and was telling me how to grill the burgers. He kept on and finally just kind of grabbed the spatula when I set it down and took over, saying, "It's just that alpha dog mentality. Cool story, but now you're just my personal chef." So, I got to enjoy playing games and hanging out while my personal chef sweated over a grill in the Texas summer. How much they haven't slept. Like, cool bro, you're an adult. Go to bed earlier, you're a doofus. As someone who struggles with insomnia, I don't understand how this is something to be proud of. I hate the days when I get little to no sleep. Seriously, I don't brag about this. I complain about it. What's worse is that it turns into this game of one-upping, where people try to outdo each other over damaging their bodies and brains. They're like the people who brag about how they never take vacations, sick days, or days off in general. I don't see what's so admirable about being busy and stressed all of the time. Going to jail. Unless you were a political prisoner fighting for freedom in a totalitarian state. Ignorance. LOL, I don't know that. That's nerd shit. Shit. I don't know that shit. That's some educated shit. Mother ducker. Why would I know that? You think I know anything about that shit? Dude. I dunno, dude. That's ducked up, dude. Anybody who's proud as duck that they don't know anything, well, they're not a winner. I haven't read a book in 15 years. Goodness, what a fascinating individual you are. This is just who I am, and I don't need to apologize for it. Having the tallest tower after a national tragedy. Not reading books. Have to admit, when I was a teenager, 12-18, I had little interest in reading books other than when needed to study. But damn, since I started reading books I found out that it's really addicting at times. Tearing down others for their successes. Chris Rock, I take care of my kids. You are supposed to, you dumbus. Low expectation mother ducker. What, you want a cookie? As a certified loser I must admit that I brag about my ability to type ASCII faces. How little they study in school. The girls in my class used to say things like OMG I never study, OMG I'm gonna fail so hard, OMG I only got a B I'm so bad, so on. And then proceed to get an A. Really sucked when I only got like a E after hearing that. BTW, I live in Sweden so an E is acceptable but you can do better. Salary. It's fine to be proud of being successful, but bragging about the money you make, or, more often, lying, just makes you sound emotionally retarded. There are some people on Reddit who make over 6 figures a year and don't do anything, so I've read, they literally just sit at their desk. I want that job, desperately. I could totally kick that guy's ass. Parking violations, maggots on their sleeves, shaving with mace in the dark, saving food stamps, burning down the trailer park. High school anything once they are over 20. Their race. Being a certain race is not a personality, skill, or otherwise positive or negative trait. If the best thing you can think of about yourself is your race, you are a shit human. Edit. Some clarification. There is a difference between being proud of your race as a reaction to others saying your race is shameful, and bragging about your race. One is elevating a trait from negative to neutral, the other is elevating it from neutral to positive. My initial statement here is that there is nothing inherently positive or negative about your race. The same can be said about any trait which you have no control over, be it sexuality, gender, height, dong length, boob size, or IDK. Whether you are left or right-handed, a marginalized group is fighting against people who say their group is wrong or shameful for what they are when they show pride in being a part of that group. A non-marginalized group is trying to instill a sense of superiority when showing pride in being a part of that group. For example, there exists in the world black supremacy groups. I think those groups are losers just the same as a white supremacist group. However, that is very different from a black person saying they are proud of their black heritage. One is saying they are better because of their race. The other is saying their race doesn't make them any worse than anyone else. Ultimately, I think being proud of anything you have no control over is stupid. Consider this. If you won the lottery, would you be proud to have won the lottery? Winning the lottery isn't an accomplishment. It's random chance. The same can be said for any given genetic trait. Being an a-hole and owning it. If you accept by yourself that you are horrible, better yourself. Pretty much anything. Bragging is largely a sign of insecurity. You try to highlight aspects of yourself that you think are appealing in an effort to overshadow other aspects of yourself that you are extremely insecure about. A not so good looking guy might brag about his car or his salary, because he's insecure about this appearance. Whereas a good looking guy might do the exact opposite. Defeating an interdimensional shapeshifting clown. Oh, wrong losers. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.